The White House now confirming to Fox Business that President Trump and New York Governor Andrew Cuomo will meet tomorrow. Now, the governor's trying to make a deal and stop the DHS from blocking New Yorkers from a trusted traveler program. Is a move they made in reaction to the state not sharing information about travelers with the DHS. Cuomo now saying he is willing to share some of his information with DHS. Here now is Republican Congressman Andy Biggs from the House Subcommittee on Immigration and Citizenship. Congressman, good to see you. Does Governor Cuomo's compromise go far enough, you think?
Well, I think it does. I think it's actually a complete capitulation on his part, because what he's saying is, I'm not going to give you every record, and DHS didn't want every record. They wanted the records of people who wanted to become trusted travelers and get into that program. And he's basically said, okay, we're going to give you those records. This was much ado about nothing. I'm not sure why. Well, I do know why. I know why he wanted to avoid giving us those records, but he's capitulated, and I'm glad.
Yeah, Congressman, I mean, that's a good question with respect. I don't know. I guess I do know why they went this far, but I mean, doesn't this serve as another example to the American people of the strife between the left and the right here, and how we just continually get caught in the middle? I mean, when do you see this kind of thing, this tit for tat stopping, if ever?
You know, I wish it would stop yesterday, but I don't know when it's going to end. And I thought this was pretty interesting. I mean, what we've found out, what we've determined, or that we think the motivation was, is because Mr. Cuomo, Mayor Cuomo, did not want to give over these records that might belong to illegal alien drivers who are getting licenses. And so he didn't want to give that information over to DHS, which they weren't asking for that. You know, so you get this push me, pull you type of situation, and that's really the unfortunate part of all this.
So, Congressman, do you feel like there's any broader, maybe, oh my God, bipartisan consensus about this continual issue of states' rights versus federal authority? Because this is one of many of these issues that play out. I mean, I remember Arizona didn't pass Martin Luther King Day in 1991, and that ended up being changed because of an NFL boycott because of the Super Bowl. But there is a constant tension between how much the federal government can dictate, this is the whole sanctuary city issue, how much states can, and that cuts across left and right. So do you see any consensus emerging there?
Well, I wish there would be, because I'm a big modern federalist. I think we should go back and recognize that there should be state sovereignty. You know, whether there's consensus there or not, we basically killed the structure that protected the states from the overreach of the feds. 17th Amendment, 16th Amendment, both passed in 1913. Those are hugely detrimental to preserving states. And the last vestige of it is electoral college. And the Democrats want to eliminate the electoral college. If that were to take place, you could forget, all bets are off. We would no longer even have any federalism. We would be totally a national state.
So, Congressman, it seems to me that the reason all this is, reason that Cuomo is going to D.C. to meet with Trump is very simple. New York is an economy that's sort of in bad shape right now. We desperately, desperately need tourism. Can you imagine the lines at JFK that would result from not having global entry? Already, sometimes those lines are like an hour long for people coming into the country. This was Cuomo's effort to not have an incredible boo-boo under his watch. And I think that's how people in this state would have regarded it.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think he made a tremendous error in judgment. I really don't, other than the motivation that has been attributed to him, I can't imagine what it was, other than maybe he thought he would poke the president in the eye or something. This has no bearing on the president at all. But you're right, because believe it or not, I have stood in some of those lines coming into New York, and they can be, you know, not very pleasant
Horrible.
to be there for long.
And
yeah.
New Yorkers are spoiled. We all know that. I mean, interfere with our, you know, getting us a Lyft car or getting through, you know, immigration quickly, and we rebel.
Hey, Congressman Steve Moore here. Just a quick change of subject, but it's related to New York and Arizona. One of the things Cuomo talks so much about is the state and local tax deduction. He wants to bring that back because New York's a high-tax state. You're there in a low-tax state. You're getting all these New Yorkers and Illinois residents. What do you think is the fate of the state and local tax deduction?
Well, I don't think it's. I don't think Cuomo's going to win on this. There's too many. There's too many of us that don't want to subsidize a high tax state, and that's what we were doing. And you know, Arizona, we get all these folks in from California, which has the same fate going on. So we welcome those people. I always remind them, though, you're here in Arizona because of the low tax and low regulatory environment, please don't vote to turn us into California, New York, Illinois, or something like that.
Congressman, we got to go, but very quickly, you're on the Judiciary Committee. Is any chance that this fight between Pelosi and Schumer and the president over DOJ and the sentencing of Roger Stone could turn into another impeachment?
Oh, I pray it doesn't. They're kind of giving a nod to investigating the whole thing. We saw that Mr. Barr is going to come. They've requested him to come in next month. I hope that we don't start walking down a parade of endless investigations again. It's time to move on.
Andy Biggs, great to see you again. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.